Hello, welcome to White Davy Gardening and Worm Farm. This bin is my Canadian Nightcrawler bin, and as you know, I released most of the Canadian Nightcrawlers earlier this spring. A few of them remain back in the bin, so I just decided to find those few so that I can release them outdoors. But as I am going through, I'm noticing a lot of all those worms that you're looking at there. These are not redwigglers. These are actually pot worms with a few redwigglers in between. You see the amount of them? So the population of redwigglers in here is very small, because when I saw that a few of my redwigglers escaped in here into the Canadian Nightcrawler bin 2 years ago, I restarted the bin by simply taking out all of the Canadian Nightcrawlers and starting a new bin with them. And then the material from that bin, I put everything in the garden. So there should not be any redwiggler in this bin. I don't know how they are in there, but I'm assuming that maybe a few hatchlings were on the bodies of the Canadian Nightcrawlers, or maybe an egg or two was on the body of the Canadian Nightcrawler, because other than that there should be no redwiggler in here, because as I said, all I did was take out the Canadian Nightcrawlers and put them into a new bin. So there should not be any redwigglers in here. So I've gone through this portion of already taking out the Canadian Nightcrawlers that are in here. So I found 5. One of them was a baby, and if they're the size of a redwiggler, sometimes it's difficult to tell them different. So I only take out the ones that actually are bigger than what redwigglers would grow to. Now the reason why I end up doing this video is because of the amount of pot worms that I'm seeing in here. My lighting is very high because it's in the ceiling, so it's not bright in here, and I didn't bring out my light because I didn't plan to do a video. But apart from the pot worm, what I wanted to show you was something that surprised me, because I came here and I started digging through looking for the Canadian Nightcrawlers, and when I got into this spot, look at what I found. Look at redwigglers, and you see that big white lump there? That big white lump is actually, it fell off, is actually pot worms. But look at the amount of redwigglers that I found in here. Look at that. I was not expecting anything like this at all. Seriously, wasn't. Oh my goodness, I thought I saw. No, I was not expecting anything like that like this at all. But this is just crazy, and it is exciting too. Oh my goodness. Yeah, one thing that surprised me, this bin needs to be harvested because everything here is just castings, and the worms have been going through and processing whatever leftover food scraps they can find. So I don't really know what it is that they are feeding on at this point in time. But this bin has not been watered since the time I told you that, since the last time I did my Canadian Nightcrawler update and told you that I released them. This bin has not been watered, and every time you come in this bin, it's the same level of moisture in the bin all the time. I don't know what is keeping the bin so moist, but it is the same level of moisture for all these months, because I believe that was in March, whether early or late March, I'm not sure, but that was in March that I released those worms, and yet still the bin has been moist from then until now. So whatever is going on, obviously the worms in here, the redwigglers in here, like it, and they are doing very well. Now I feel bad that I have to go and restart this bin because they're so happy in here. But 1, I need to get rid of the pot worms. 2, I need to harvest the casting because all of this is castings that's ready for harvesting, and it has been ready for harvesting for several months now. Yes, so I'm going to have disturbed the way they were. It would have been easy to just harvest them if I hadn't disturbed them, or at least to harvest most of them. So these are the few Canadian Nightcrawlers. I think there are 5 or 6 of them in here. They're small though. Yeah, they're very small. Maybe not enough food in there. So I'm going to take these guys out. And I don't think I will be able to get them all in all of my raised beds. But I'm going to make sure that I put 2 in each. Let's see. Yes, so I'm gonna put 2 of them in each of the raised bed. If I have a single worm remaining, I'll just put it in the same bed with the other worms, because worms need partner in order to reproduce, and they cannot reproduce if they're well, what do you call it, they can't crossbreed, as it were. So hopefully these guys will help me to break down the compost that is in here, since as I've got too much compost in here. So hopefully they will enjoy the bin. Oh, where did the other one go? He's trying to bury himself already. This guy is serious. Alright, so let's cover them over and let them do their thing. So 2 in here. Now this bed, I'm not sure how about worms in there. I don't recall putting worms in here, but there's a possibility that I did. The one that I just put worm in, I'm definitely sure that I've put worms. I've put Canadian Nightcrawlers and redwigglers in there before. Okay, 2 here. I know I put in here, so I think I'm gonna put the other 2. Yes, I have 2 remaining. I think I'm gonna put them in the main garden. I'm just gonna find a spot that it is highly unlikely for me to dig. That way I won't accidentally dig in the garden and harm them. So underneath this apple tree, I won't be planting anything directly underneath the apple tree here. So freedom for you, my little guys. You've served me well in making castings. I'm sorry that most of you died off, but be free and go cultivate that garden for me. Thank you. Love you. Bye-bye. Okay, so that's it. That castings that these Canadian Nightcrawlers were in, I'm not going to be selling that castings. Oops. Yeah, I'm just going to be using that casting in my garden, because no doubt it's going to have a lot of Canadian Nightcrawler eggs in there, and I would really love it if those eggs would actually hatch and I can have a nice population of Canadian Nightcrawlers, because they are the biggest of the Nightcrawler family and of the worms that I raise. So they are the best worms for fishing. So I'm hoping, because that is why I started raising them in the first place, so that I can use them for fishing. I still need to add more lighting to this what is it called? To this to this garage. Oh my goodness, I can't even talk. So what I'm going to be doing now is clearing a spot, that spot where these worms gather. Oh my goodness, look at that. And since I'm in no hurry for castings because I've got tons all over the place, I'm not going to be harvesting this anytime soon. So what I am going to be doing then is to clear this spot, and I'm going to get one of my experimental trays. I'm sorry if I crushed any of you guys against the thing. Yeah, so I'm going to get one of those experimental trays that I use, and I'm going to put some food scraps in there. And I'm going to use that method to extract these worms. Unfortunately, I'll be extracting the pot worms as well, but yeah, I think I should leave a little bit on the bottom so that the worms have a path to travel to the food scraps. Okay, yes, so that's what I'm going to be doing. Now, let's see, I'll go get the food scraps. I already have it. I just need to put it in a bin and put it in here. Okay, so I have some food scraps here. Oh, I should probably go and get the food scraps that I have in the house as well. So for the first time, I'm going to be feeding my worms slushies. It's the first time I'm making it for my worms. I usually just give them the food and they process it at their own pace. But as an apology for messing with them and for taking them out of their nice, comfortable home, which I'm attempting to do with this food source, I'm giving them a slushie. Let's see. Interesting. So I'm gonna have to put more material underneath this because the bottom of the bin is too narrow for this thing to fit. Oh, look at all those guys. I'm quite impressed. I wish the other bins in the garage were reproducing as fast as this. If they were, oh my goodness, I would be on top of the world. But anyway, just covering it up and pushing these guys back on top. So I've got holes in the bottom and the sides of the food tray and in the cover as well, so these guys will be able to get in quite easily and have themselves quite a feast. Look at that. This is all pot worms. Ugh. Hey, but why am I putting it back in there? Crazy, am I not? To be putting it back when I know what it is. Okay, yes, so thank you for watching, guys. If you enjoy my video and you would like to see an update on what I do with this bin, then please give me a thumbs up. You can leave a comment in the section below. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe and turn on your notification for more updates like these. Thank you so much for watching and have yourself a wonderful day. Yeah man, it's time for grow.